What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Love Coach Scott Catamas, and welcome to the Awakening World. We have a really beautiful show tonight. So many people that I'm excited to spend time with, to listen to learn from. We've got some of our favorite friends from the past, like Alan Steinfeld and Neal Gaur and Michelle Anderson, and some of our new people for the Awakening World audience. Vox, who we've had on just recently and blew us away. And then two brand new friends, Shelly, Reef and Jenna. So you're going to get to meet all these people, hear from them. And of course, beloved brother Omashar is with us. And so we're going to have a lot of music tonight. We're going to have some wonderful sharings. There's my voicemail reminding me of all of this. But it's also an incredibly magical time on the planet. And so I want to start by sharing a little bit about the new moon and the solar eclipse that's happening right now. Like literally at this moment, 6 o'clock as we're starting, we've got a new moon just peaking, and we have a really remarkable, unique, what's called the hybrid eclipse happening right now. So I'm going to read it. Omashar, if you can let people in while I do that, that'd be great. By the way, this is a description about what's happening written by our beloved friends, the Twin Ray. The Aries new moon. When there is an eclipse at the time of a new moon, there is a reset of how the body configures with the soul. The total blackout of the sun resets how the soul augments into the physical vessel and the energetic field. This will open up a passageway into the biological circuitry of the body. This alchemy supports the higher attunements of the soul's extensions and the oversoul. So how wonderful that we get to come together in community. We get to listen to the incredible high vibrations of what Vox is going to be creating for us. She takes us into a whole nother level. And we get to meet all these friends, and they all have something in common. They're all part of the Portal to Ascension conference that's going to be happening in San Diego this weekend. We're going to talk a lot about that. But one last little piece of business before we do that. I want to invite those of you who are watching on Facebook, and a big thanks to John and Summer Raymer. They put us out to as many as 175 Facebook groups and pages. So a lot of you right now are watching on Facebook. Some of you are watching on Alan Steinfeld's YouTube channel, and we love Alan. He's here. You're going to hear a lot from Alan tonight. or you might even be watching on our Global Peace Tribe YouTube channel. Come and join the Global Peace Tribe. Come join us. That way you're in the Zoom room, you're interacting, you're going to get all the links. And we're going to be giving you a lot of very important links today, and you get to chat and connect with all of us. So here's what you do. Go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and then just click register for the new season. There's the twin ray that we were just reading from. Click where it says register for the new season, and that takes you to our registration page. And there are some of the regular guests and co-hosts that are frequently on our show. And we do a lot of different shows. We do 3 shows every week. And so you'll get to learn about all the different shows that we do. And it's easy, just register, and you're going to get the links to all of our shows for the next 3 months. And it's very, very, very good. It's awesome. You also will get an email every week that gives you the access to all of our replays, all of our recordings. And we've done 500 shows in the last 3 years. Okay, with no further ado, I want to bring on my 2 co-hosts. By the way, Trish is taking the night off. She's in Denver, but it takes 2 co-hosts to replace 1 Trish. No, seriously. We've got the wonderful Alan Steinfeld, who is one of my oldest friends. Alan and I go all the way back to 1989. We've been
Yes, we do, Scott. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
I only wait to see what the next 35 years are going to be like. I mean, we'll be levitating by then, right?
Well, it's great to be intertwining these paths. I just saw you in person again, last weekend, and host a couple of shows. Actually, you hear JJ chanting in the background. I'm at the Hertog's place in Northern California.
If you get a chance, certainly have them come on and say hello.
I will. But Scott, it's always good because I really think your dedication, like I said to you before, has brought this community together through the hardest times the world has experienced collectively. So thank you for this and the ongoing dedication.
Well, my pleasure. And we've also got with us Neal Gaur. So, Alan, you work very closely with Neal. Now, I've heard his wonderful words. He's an incredible wordsmith, an incredible poet, and he's done a lot of poetry on our shows over the years. I am also amazed at all that. Really, you know what? Let's just own it. The 3 of us are amazing how much we each produce. I mean, Alan, with all the shows you do on New Realities, you're doing 3 shows a week. And Neal, you're constantly doing live events and online events through Portal to Ascension.
Yeah. Yeah, we're creating a lot of content. Sometimes I take a step back from being on full speed ahead to really just appreciate the awareness that we're actually putting out there. And it's really rewarding. Feels good.
Yeah, Neal's taken his online platform, Portal to Ascension, with a brand new website. And he's been yearning to do a live event because we've been cut off from live events for the last few years. And you've been planning this thing in San Diego for a long time, Neal. Why don't you talk about how excited you are about it really happening this coming weekend?
I'm getting more and more excited every day. Last week, I woke up at 7 a.m., spent a good 12 to 13 hours of just getting everything ready for the conference, categorizing it. I got a storage, moved it all down to the venue. I put in so much energy and intention, not only myself, but the whole team in this event. I've never been more prepared for anything in my entire life, more prepared than some of the biggest weddings in the world. So I feel so excited just because I want to enjoy it as well. We have a lot of staff there. We have so much support. We have 4 different professional camera crews. We really have the people that do whatever they do the best showing up to be fully present for this event. So I'm just excited to see how it's all going to manifest.
Yeah.
And so, of course, what we're talking about is the Portal to Ascension conference happening in San Diego this weekend. And I just put the link into the chat box. For those of you watching on Facebook, you go to Portal to Ascension, click down to the different conferences and choose the San Diego conference, April 21st to 23rd, Humanity Awakens, which is what the theme of tonight's show is. You're going to get just a little homeopathic dose of what the conference is about, with some of the key presenters joining us tonight. But it's amazing the people you've got. I mean, it's like the who's who of new thought leaders that are going to be there.
Yeah. And it weaves together the best of what Portal to Ascension is, which is starseed family wisdom and the ancient civilizations and the evolution, the ascension process. Deborah Juicy, of course, is doing an ascension panel. So we are coming to a time where all these intense areas of study are converging as we shift timelines as we're at the threshold of a new age of humanity awakening. That's what's exciting.
I'm going to go to the poster briefly. Look at all the people that are going to be there. I mean, really, and about 3/4 of these people have been on The Awakening World or on Saturday Night Live. But
Yeah,
Paulo, Caroline Corey, JJ and Desiree Hertog, Barbara Lamb. I mean, these are just like titans in our field.
we're giving a special award to Barbara Lamb. I hope she's not watching, but maybe she is, about a Lifetime Achievement Award for her dedication and service to humanity. And Linda Moulton Howe will be presenting that to Barbara Lamb.
Yeah, and Barbara won't be able to make it in person anymore. She has some health issues that she needs to take care of. But Barbara was actually at my first live event, my first major conference in 2012 called the Cosmic Reunion 2012, a month before December 21st, 2012. So it was my first big one, and she was my first ever headliner. So she's been one of the biggest supports for over a decade now, and just really hold her dear to the heart. So sending her a lot of love for her healing process right now.
But the other thing I want to say, Scott, is Linda Moulton Howe is going to be, like we mentioned, and she's gotten inside information that April of this year, the month we're in, there's going to be some revelations. The Webb telescope is pointing at TRAPPIST-1 with a high-powered equipment, and it seems like there could be life there. So we're at the verge, and of course, there was a Senate hearing today. There's a new energy coming into the planetary awareness. And the Portal to Ascension is sort of the portal into this new time.
Hey, Alan, your camera is off for some reason.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's been off for the last minute, and
Oh,
I get a chance to
okay.
get a word in there.
Thank
So,
you. Is that better now?
Yeah, there you go. I switched to the.
Oh, thank you.
So
Okay. Anyway, I was just saying we're at a portal. This is why the conference is a perfect name.
Right. I really feel the way we're creating it, the next level intentionality. I've been speaking to the staff, the vendors, the speakers. This is a 3-day ceremony that we're all getting into. We're not just doing, they're not just vendors doing their thing, speakers doing their thing. We are creating a synergy, and we're all equally in support, whether it's the staff or the speakers, creating a cohesive unit. And together we're moving forward with the collective intention. And the intention is the upliftment. So I feel like this whole event really, really been speaking often about how this is a team effort. And that's why I want to enter. To me, my recent belief system has become that Earth is one big ceremony, one big journey. And so I really want to bring that kind of intention and the ceremonial aspect to everything we're doing, which is why we have some amazing channels of awareness and also sound and frequency that we're going to be experiencing today. And it's a beautiful tapestry. We're going to be part of the quantum reality and the music of the universe through these 3 days.
I love that. That's a beautiful way of seeing it.
And you know what makes this conference different than other ones? The expos. The expos are great. They're 3-ring circuits or 9-ring circuits. This is one speaker at a time to an audience where you can absorb this material. You don't have to worry about running off. So, and these are top-notch speakers. Adam Apollo knows how to build a UFO to travel through the dimensions. He's fantastic. So there's just so much. Robert Grant, fantastic sacred geometry, comparing Leonardo da Vinci's paintings to the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid. Yeah. He's done it and he proves it. Fantastic. Anyway.
Well, okay. Let's bring on Vox, because we are entering this time of a solar eclipse, and Vox takes us to such a high level of vibration. And so I want to invite anybody who hasn't heard her before, get ready, because you're about to have an experience. And to kind of continue the introduction, I'm going to turn it over to you, Neal.
Thank you. Yeah, Vox, I've known Vox for quite some time. I think it was 2011, 2010, before I even did my first major conference when I was doing small sound healing events. And I experienced Vox. It was a concert at a venue in Irvine. And then soon after with Dr. Dream with his 333 Tibetan Bowl experience. And, you know, Vox is one of the people that when I connected with, it made me realize other dimensions are real. You know, not only her presence, her like pure presence that is penetrating through you, like there is no BS when you have this conversation and when you just feel her energy. And then also just the music that came through. I didn't know anything about light language or any individuals really channeling you know, other star beings through music at that point. She was kind of my introduction to that world, which is why we've been so working together ever since, because as you're going to experience really soon here, is that she really brings down these frequencies that you have no doubt in your mind that is some celestial vibration coming down to this planet to be experienced. That's like the best way to sum it up. So I'm just going to read 2 paragraphs from her bio here, and then we're just going to get right into the experience. So as a pure conduit for the Elohim, Phyllis N. Douglas facilitates the path of undoing using energy, frequency, and vibration. Her ability to create multidimensional pathways and access points allow those who choose to let go and desire to move forward to access their true divine and infinite nature from within. When people hear Phyllis speak and sing in the angelic Adamic language of light, the ancient codes and frequencies that flow through her are in an embodied state, are translated and assimilated on an energetic, cellular, and DNA level to undo the web of woven of our inner narratives, stories, and beliefs that are not aligned with our spiritual nature, truth, path, and purpose. So everybody, I'm extremely excited to be introducing us again to this platform, Vox Phyllis Douglas. Hey, Vox.
Thank you, Neal. I love you.
I love you. Can't wait to see you.
And welcome, beautiful beings. I'm going to get started here. And it's interesting because I felt something come in, and there is a Pleiadian ship. It's right above our, far up, but right above our house. Okay, so we're going to get started here. So they may actually come in. We are the Pleiadians. Yerim ama gera su yerim herya kirim hang herya jasam or yerian hang gere sure rot yerim hang ora sure cheroriam hang arere sutreriam hang armoni sererot hundre makuire sire hang Angare matruriere soram, angere matririere soram, angere siriam, 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 ore siriam. Oria, Syria, Oria here, Oria Syria, Mireria Syria, Oria, Hungary, Ingero Sutra Mayara Puyera Syria Natuyam, Hungary Maturiere Syria Mabaya Kuria, Maria Hira, O tu sheri bikira Matroria, Andra Syria Kuria, Maria Huriam, Hungary, 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 Ibosuriam, Hungary, 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 Suria Ture, Hungary.
I'm going to bring Neal back on too.
Well, the Pleiadians did come in.
So tell us about that. We'll go to your website in a moment, but tell us about how the Pleiadians come in. How do you experience it? And is there a translation of what you just experienced.
They were bringing in the frequencies that would best assist and guide humanity past this gateway that has opened up for us with what is happening today, energetically speaking, and just astrologically speaking, what is happening, because it is a wave of energy that is carrying us from point A to point B. And if we are open, then they are bridging the gap between who we are in this present moment and who it is that we desire to be and what it is that we desire to bring into physical manifestation. So that is basically what they were bringing in. They have followed me around for a while. When I'm doing higher work and when I'm doing retreats and things, all of a sudden I'm like, "Boop, beep." I hear this beep, beep, and it's like in my brain, and I can visualize their ships. But they come in and they have been just coming through me with this language, and so it almost comes through. It's like I'm reading the old fashioned when we had not like dot matrix, but with the original computers, you had to put in the little card and so. Well, it's like this weird kind of language thing, and I don't know, but I can read it. I don't know, and so it's just this very fast. Um, it's very fast, and so I find that I'm speaking words, but I'm speaking really, really fast. Yeah. Hmm.
There's George, just before you started, who's one of our regulars, said that there was a whole message that came through that the Pleiadians are about to show themselves. And it was interesting that that message came in to our chat box, and then you had your channeling. And I do want to read some of the beautiful comments that have come in response to you. Linda McCabe writes, incredible, loving, activating. Thank you, Vox, for sharing your gifts.
That looked like a possession.
You saw that one, right? George says it's like a possession. Eleanor Joy says, oh, wow. We just arrived and looked who we tune into. This is awesome. Charlotte LaFranc writes, wow. Thank you for that incredibly beautiful transmission. Exquisite. Omashar, our beloved brother, writes, Vox, profound transmission. Thank you. And Jennifer writes, wow, I love you, Phyllis. Kathy writes, I felt that energy and vibration. And so it goes, more and more people responding. So thank you.
You're welcome.
What are you going to be doing in San Diego? What will people experience there with you?
I will be doing a full on transmission. So when I create like what they call a chamber, I create a sacred chamber with the people that are participating, and so it is bringing in a full transmission that, just like a composition would have like a beginning, a peak, and an end. But for that, I will be bringing in a number of spiritual folk that will be coming in to assist and guide people through a process. So they want to take people on a voyage, and really more so like a vision quest.
Mm.
So I'll have people state what their intention might be at the beginning, and then I'll take you through this. So you will have doorways or access points that you can then choose to go through to actually receive what it is that you're desiring. And the Pleiadians do say it is almost time that they will be making an appearance. Yeah.
Mm. I don't know. I'm one of those guys that whenever I look up in the sky, I always see the Pleiades first. Always, always. Yeah. I mean, if it's visible. And more comments are coming in. Well, in addition to, of course, experiencing her at the Portal to Ascension conference, which hopefully many of you will, you can also book a session with her. Now, Phyllis, tell us, and by the way, her website is her name, phyllisdouglas.com. That's PHYLLIS, Douglas, DOUGLASS, two S's. Phyllis, what are some of the sessions when somebody books a session with you? What do they experience?
Well, everything is really big. You can click that X and it'll go to the main page there. Yeah. So, and those are my sessions. I do a primary session, which is the soul resonance alignment with Elohim there. What we do is we look at the past, present, future. We look at any influences, can be positive or negative, that are coming into your life that are keeping you from moving forward in some way, shape, or form. And so we do a transmission. You receive a recording of the transmission. You receive a alchemy symbol, which I download, that you can hang in your space, and it actually imbues your space with the intention and the frequencies from your session. And so we do a lot of clearing. It also goes into past life or parallel lives, genetics, ancestors, and all of that. So whatever it is or wherever I need to go to pinpoint what it is that's keeping you from moving forward in the present moment that we are working together, then that's what is shown to me. And they either clear, transmute, or transform those energies and create a new frequency.
Wow. Oh, I want a session. I tell you, I'd love to.
I would love to do that.
Let's work that out. I would like that very much. I just put your links back in, and of course, she also is got a YouTube channel. She has. I'm going to go to one other place. Tell us a little bit about this sacred artifacts. Tell us about this. What we're looking at right here.
Well, 2 years ago, at the height of COVID, the Elohim came to me and they said, "We wish for you to begin making sacred artifacts." Well, I had these visions of creating these things. I'm like, I have no clue how to create these things. But the thing is, when you are guided to do that, the information just comes in. I have access. It's me. It's part of me, right? And so I began to create these sacred artifacts, and the Lemurian healing rod was the first. And it was interesting because a gentleman that lives in Australia, he messaged me and said, the Lemurians came in and said to contact you, and I hadn't done anything yet, said to contact you to create some type of tool for me. And then the day after that, the Elohim said, you're going to be creating these sacred tools. And the Lemurians came in and were explaining about the Lemurian healing rod. So I thought, okay, this is really funny. Okay, I will do it. And I had no clue, but they are magical. They are living conscious items. They do, I wouldn't say a soul, they do contain a consciousness that actually alchemically bonds with you. And it's a lifetime thing. So if you have a Lemurian healing rod and you transition from physical life, then it's dead. The Lemurian healing rod is as well.
Wow.
And so there is a consciousness that works through the tool that is working with you, not only to elevate itself as well.
Wow.
And so you're kind of working in tandem with each other with all of the sacred artifacts that I create.
I have not had it. I haven't had the opportunity to use any of yours, but I've been using these Egyptian healing rods that were sent to me by Shri and Kira, and I've been using them every day, and it's something. So I'm imagining it's a kind of a similar tool, if you will. And so I
have a pair, and it's really about energy. It's about the energetics, and it is the energy flows through it, but it's different than having a consciousness as a part of it that actually, it's like an intimate dance partner. The tool works with you to enhance and elevate what it is that you do within the world utilizing the tool. So it allows you to expand as well.
Well, thank you for the amazing gifts that you give to our world, Vox.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure.
And a big thank you to Neal and Alan for bringing you into our awakening world. Thank you, guys. You found a gem. I feel like, you're like explorers, and you discovered this incredible gem that you the world, and her name is Vox.
Well, Neal found her. Where did you find Vox, Neal?
I experienced an event at the Temple of Light in Irvine in 2010, 2011. And then we both were angels for Dr. Dream in 2011 for his 333 Tibetan bowls. And that's when we actually became friends. And then a few years later, I moved to a city next to her, and she was my yoga teacher every now and then too. So, and which we ended with sound and her channeling amazing frequencies and drum. And there's usually only like 4 or 5 people. So we would get in a group, and she would be right there in the middle doing this transmission for us. And it was like some of the best experiences I've ever had. Really penetrated my soul, you know. So I always, you know, I always feel like the only term to really explain Vox for me is like she is living it, and she is so real when it comes to her passion for what she does and the information that comes through. And those are the type of people I like to hang around, you know, the really authentic people with high integrity with what they bring forward. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Vox. And we're going to move on because we've got such an incredible abundance tonight of remarkable people. And I'm really honored to introduce this next person. You know, in the last 5 weeks, I've attended 5 different conferences and retreats, and they've all been hug-a-thons. And I have probably hugged, no exaggeration, at least 200 people. But the most powerful hug I experienced in these last 5 weeks or 8 weeks has been with you, Michelle. When we finally met for the first time, it was like incredible. So I just want to acknowledge that of all the hugs, that one really stands out. It was quite special.
Thank you. Thank you. I was so touched when we hugged. We were just passing each other in the hallway. We didn't expect it. It was not like we planned on meeting right then in that moment. And just, oh, it was so heart opening. It was just so great to finally get to hug you in person.
Likewise, likewise. And a couple of things about Michelle, for those of you who don't know her, she's the co-host of Awakening Code Radio. She's been doing it for a decade, over a decade. Doing this, you know, bringing on luminaries and providing the inspiration and the information that we all need. She's also her own very popular speaker. She's a producer. She does conferences such as Disclosure Fest and Star Knowledge Conference. Earlier, Alan said she is the heart of the Portal to Ascension conference taking place. And it's really true. You're a big heart. I also just want to acknowledge and ask our viewers to take a moment. Michelle's mom, her beloved mother that she was very close to, passed away just a few days ago. And we didn't even know if Michelle was going to be able to be with us. And I said, hey, follow the flow. Her mom did pass. And it was a big passage for Michelle because she and her mother were very, very close, very bonded. And so just want to acknowledge what a tender time it is for you and how precious it is for you to share yourself and your being with us at this particular time in your life.
Thank you so much, Scott, for honoring my mother in that way and for being there for me. You were the person I called the morning, I think it was the morning she passed. You had reached out to me, and this has been a journey. It's been ongoing, you know, 7 years. We've been kind of up and down, but the last 7 weeks on hospice were pretty intense. And it all began the night Conscious Life Expo ended, and I went and picked her up from the ER, and then that began our journey. So that's where I've been spending all of my time, you know, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Portal to Ascension is coming. And my dog had 7 puppies on March 24th. And this whole as above, so below, the cycle of life is playing out physically in my life. And I just feel so grateful to you, Scott, for helping walk me through that process. I knew you had done that with your wife, and I felt like in that moment, you were the person that I needed to talk to help give me clarity about what was to come, because I thought it might be coming that night, which was the night after her 83rd birthday. So she made it to her birthday. Her birthday was 4/10/40, and she passed on April 11th or April 12th at 2:22 in the morning is what they put on the death certificate. But wow, it's just been a full circle. And I'm so grateful to be here with Soul Family. We have had Vox and Neal and Alan on Awakening Code Radio, and I'm really looking forward to having the rest of our guests tonight on Awakening Code Radio as well. Last night we had one of our Portal to Ascension speakers, Lori Wheeler, was on Awakening Code Radio, and we did a deep dive with her. And, you know, the theme that keeps coming up more than anything is the hug theme. We talked about it last night on our show, that I find myself ending every phone call with big hugs, and how important those hugs are to each one of us right now. And while we're all going through, many of us are going through our own transformations, our own soul's evolutionary journey is playing out. And the hugging process in person it's taking me to new levels, you know, in terms of that sharing of hearts with Soul Family, with people that we look in each other's eyes and we go, I know you, I feel you, I recognize you. And Scott, you and I were talking about that. What did you say to me the other day about I was the only person you've spent the least amount of time with me in person?
What I said was that of all that, I don't know of anyone I feel closer to that I have spent less time physically with.
Exactly. And I feel the same way. I think, you know, anybody here that's joining with us in the chat, that's here with us in the Zoom, I think we probably all agree that we feel each other on a soul level before we ever meet in person. Mm. And I really feel that way with this family. This family feels so important to this evolutionary process we're in the ascension process. And we're tying up loose ends, you know, these contracts with our biological family. And my mother, I was adopted, so she wasn't my DNA blood, but one of the things that I felt so honored about towards the end of her life, I found her genealogy that she never shared with me. And I learned a lot about the family history immigrating from Russia in 1898 as Jewish immigrants. And I watched the movie Fiddler on the Roof this weekend because that's really like this history. And I said to my mom while I knew she could hear me in those last few days. And I said, I'm so honored to be a part of this family, because whether it's blood of your blood or bone of your bone, I'm still yours. And I got to inherit those virtues and those values from this incredible family. And I feel that with our soul family here, you know, that we share so much in common about wanting to uplift humanity and wanting to know our star family origins and our roots, and seeing past just the 3D dense earth, but seeing, you know, how it's all connected. And it's really a privilege to be among all of you. And I'm so grateful that I could actually show up tonight. So thank you for having me.
I'm going to bring Alan and Neal on for a moment, but I'm putting the spotlight on Mark Denisovsky. And Mark, you can hear me. He just put in the chat box, go ahead and unmute for a moment. He's put in the chat box that he right now was playing Fiddler on the Roof, upcoming concert.
I was playing.
Hey, can you play some?
Let's see. I have a concert coming up, so that isn't from Fiddler, but anyway, I just wanted to tell you that that's what was happening right now. So.
What a sweet little wink. What a sweet little wink from my mom to kind of acknowledge that she's in the house, right? I asked her to send me signs, and these little signs are coming up. So thank you for sharing. That really means a lot to me, Mark. Thank you.
I just want to say, Michelle, what you said was very touching, because I thought about it. I'm not adopted, but in a way, this is our adopted family. We have our family we're born to, but our adopted family, like the people here and all the people we meet at expos, are the people I feel closer to or more identified with. So, and that's the love, the people you feel connected to. So thank you for your beautiful heart opening speech about your mother.
You're welcome. One of the things that I came to recognize early on, and I think it's pertinent to right now, is that when I was a child, I was always told I was adopted, and I always felt very wanted and loved. I also went around thinking as a little girl through my eyes, every person I met could be my birth mother, my birth father, my sister, my brother, my aunt, my uncle. I didn't know. I didn't know where they came from or who they were. I do now, but I didn't know then. And so early on, I started treating people as if they were my family, because they could have been. And so when you fast forward to these times where we're meeting people at conferences, at festivals, through, different social media outlets, and all of a sudden we have this recognition, like, I know you, my soul knows you. And I call a lot of people soul sisters and heart sisters and brothers, all of you, right? So I think that part of that has to do with us understanding what this one heart means, what unity consciousness means, is that we are all related. And the Native Americans have always said that, all my relations, aho, matakwiyase, means all my relations. And I spent a lot of time with Chief Golden Light Eagle and the Star Knowledge family. And that was the thing he impressed upon me the most, is that everyone was included. No one was left out. No one was left out of that sacred circle. He saw all of us as relations. And that's something that was really touching to me about the way that he flowed in the world and what he taught a lot of us about our star family origins. So I'm glad I thank you for bringing that up, Ellen, because I wanted to make sure I got that in there and talk about, we are doing a Star Knowledge inspired festival called Sunfire Fest this summer. I don't know if you can see this. It's probably backwards, huh? His producer from, I think it was 2014 to 2020, Jennifer Berryhill, she did a lot of the producing of his conferences, the 1111 Star Knowledge conferences. And so she's asked me to help her put together a festival at Tico Time Resort in Aztec, New Mexico. And Larissa Stowe and Shakti Tribe are playing there. So there's going to be a lot of really cool people, really, it's such a beautiful event. Did you get it? August 25th through 28th. Yes. And it's the 5 arts, celebrating the 5 arts of harmony, music, dance, natural medicine, and permaculture and astrology. And it's very ceremonial, because there's the sun dancers and the Star Knowledge singers that sing on the drum in between the different speakers that play. And it feels very sacred and ceremonial amidst the fire dancers and the aerialists and artistic performances and things like that, and speakers. So I'm excited about that coming up. That's going to be something that's, I think we're all kind of building upon each event, between Conscious Life Expo, into Portal to Ascension, into Contact in the Desert in June, into Sunfire Fest, into Stairway to the Stars Disclosure Fest is going to be over the 11/11 weekend at the Luxor. And that's what I feel, that most of us here are resonating and vibrating with the frequency of unity consciousness and conscious collaboration without competition. And these gentlemen that are here on this screen right here, Scott, Neal, Alan, that's what all of you really embody. And you inspire me so much by the way that you're weaving in the world with collaborating versus competing. This is the way through these times, is to collaborate, because as we're all feeling the shift of the ages, we need each other. And as one rises, we all rise. So I think you're role models for the world. And I thank you so much for being here and doing what you do.
Thank you.
It's
Jenna,
been
Thank you.
if I can just jump in
how
here.
everyone does collaborate and come together. And I was born and raised in LA. I was in the entertainment industry, which was so competitive. But I don't know, it's like since the pandemic, the way that Neal and Alan and you and I and so many others have come together, and we support each other's festival, we support each other's workshops, we support each other. And I have not felt any competition or any negativity. Everybody's like, how can I help? How, it's just beautiful, really beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I feel like, the universe, like I like to say, is one big Xerox machine. It puts out more of what you put into it, right? And we've kind of contradicted ourselves in many ways. The way the system's been created is that within these spiritual beliefs, we understand that the universe is an abundant place. There's even when it comes to the quantum world, there's infinite energy that we can pull from the quantum world. However, we've created an economy and society based on scarcity and having to compete in order to capitalize over the person next to us. However, we understand, we know that the universe is an abundant place, but every single day there's a reminder that you're living in scarcity from, the external world and, what we created ourselves. So what we really need to do, the only way to break free from it is for all of us to collectively believe that this is an abundant place, come together in collaboration, shed the fear of the competition element. I have a yoga studio down the street, you have one down the street. It can be on that level when it comes to spirituality. We're two Reiki practitioners at a conference. It could be on that level, right? And when we all step into it, all of a sudden we see the masses coming more and more towards this. And Michelle knows ever since we first had our first conversation, like 2013, that's what I've been saying, conscious collaboration. And I've honestly been kind of hurt many times from it not turning out the way I really wanted it to. And all of a sudden, this year, the collaboration element, I'm telling you, I've had my finger on the pulse of collaboration for like 10 plus years. And the collaboration element right now this year, unprecedented. People I never thought they would reaching out to me. Other people open to having conversations and working together, having conversations with multiple producers to figure out how we can support each other. It's really exciting because what are we doing this for? The upliftment and a shifting of humanity so we can all live in these vibrations. So that doesn't just mean you and me, right? It means everyone, right? So once we start checking ourselves and realizing what it's really about, and I think because of the hardships that the world has experienced in the last few years, many people are like, oh my God, it's game time. We need to step it up. How are we going to work together? How are we going to make some change?
Beautiful, Neal. Beautiful. Yeah, Michelle, that's why you're the heart, because somehow, no matter what you're going through, you're able to express it and help people feel as well, feel themselves. That's the beauty of your magic, your alchemy and gift. So thanks again.
Alan, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for the way that you're so kind and so compassionate, the way that you always uplift me with your beautiful words. And I really feel how authentic you are. And you're always just right on the pulse of what everyone needs to hear. And I appreciate you so much. This is game time.
Thank you. Well, I feel you, Michelle. I'm just telling you what I feel. It's like, what are you going to do? I'm feeling it. I just also wanted to say one more thing, Scott. Aztec, New Mexico is like one of the sites of the original UFO crashes in 1950. The Aztec crash, I think it was 1950, 1948. That is like home base for a lot of UFO interest, Aztec.
Well, I definitely have put it in my calendar, and I'm very interested in learning more about it. You mentioned Larissa Stowe is going to be there, and Larissa's going to be on our show towards the end tonight. Before we let you go, Michelle, I want to read just one comment and then have you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing in San Diego. You've received probably a dozen comments in the chat box, but I'm going to read Dia Teresa's. She writes, Michelle, you are so very genuine and you express the richness of life. What an honor to share in the passing of your mother. I too feel that I have always and in all ways called you family, sister traveler. Aho.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, dear. I really appreciate that. My eyes, ever since this is been going on with my mom. I've cried a lot. I'll be honest about that. And so the chat is super blurry. I can't really read everything in the chat, but I thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm blown away by the caliber of people that have joined here. And I'm super excited to see some of you in San Diego. And if we don't see you in San Diego, I hope to see you again here on Scott's show or in any of the other areas that we'll be doing. And Scott, I'll put you in touch with Jennifer so she can do a show with you
I would
about
love that. Yeah, let's do it. I would love to do a show just like I promote Portal. I'd love to do one with her. So yeah, connect us.
I will absolutely.
Tell us what you're going to be doing in San Diego.
So in San Diego, you know, one of the things that I love to do at Portal to Ascension is just weave the magic together. I consider myself a connector, and I love to, you know, MC and highlight people's gifts and talents and all of that. So I will be doing some MCing and be behind the scene, just helping out wherever my energy is needed. You know, that's what I like to do, is just weave with the audience and keep things moving along with a lot of love. And number one hugger. I want to.
Absolutely, definitely. Well, thank you so much. We really love you.
Oh, I love you too so much, so much.
And I know your husband's been making a wonderful dinner for you.
Gosh, I can smell it down there. It smells delicious. I'm looking forward to going. I'm gonna turn my camera off, but I'm gonna bring my computer down so I can hear everybody's talks and everything. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Michelle. Take care.
You as well.
All right. Well, I am going to bring my buddy Alan on, and Alan is going to introduce a new friend who's making her debut on Global Peace Tribe.
Yes, yes, yes. Shelly Reef, you know, I think, you know, I've met so many people, but the people I met in New York City when I was there, I'm still there part-time for 25 years. We've all come through this portal of expression. I met Shelly probably 25, 30 years ago, and she was a yoga teacher, and now she's doing harp and sound healing, and she's also developed acro yoga. She's one of the anti-gravity restorative aerial yoga teachers, where she's taught in 40 countries. So she brings this physicality and her music and her ability to kind of move energy for people all together. So she's going to be doing some sound healing, harp. And Shelly, I'm so happy you're joining our family tonight. And you're looking great. And how do you weave it all together, the physical and the music and the transformational, you know, kind of therapies you're doing?
You know, thank you so much, Alan. I'm say to everyone here that I'm really blown away by the sincerity and the authenticity in this community, and I'm so happy to be here and a part of all of you, really. And Vox, you activated me. What was that? That was I didn't just hear you, but I felt, I experienced it deep in my body, and I felt shifts and activations happening. And you know, and of the very best kind. I believe that's the language that we're ushering in. That's the work that we're really doing. So, you know, thank you. I'm a huge fan of your work, and I really appreciate and honor you. Thank you. So, Alan, I kind of got off track from the question,
No,
but you know,
ju-
the physical work that I was doing for so long, there's barriers to it. It's not accessible to absolutely everyone. I was with the company that founded aerial yoga, so I was one of the very first teachers in the world and got to really do that to the fullest degree. And it was amazing. But it was a segue into this, because what I found is that the magic of those aerial hammocks was the end of the class, when people were hanging in them like in a womb, like in a cocoon. And I found that talking people into a regressed state was so easy, because they were floating in this unnatural state, and the music that backed me up was quintessential to their experience. And there came a point when I realized I didn't want to be boxed in by the music. I wanted the music to back me up, so that my guided meditation, or the journey I was taking them on, could be free to go wherever it needed to go in that moment. Because as we all know here, every moment's different. Every person, every group has a fresh dynamic. And so just about the time my body started physically burning out from all that hanging upside down, um, uh, I discovered crystal bowls. The crystal bowls led me to the harps. And what I find now is the work that I do, it's accessible to everyone. I can't train everyone as a harpist, although I train many, many globally, but I can deliver it to everyone. And um, the goal is not just to play sound that makes people relax. That's why we go for massage. The goal is to create a container and walk people into that deepest sanctuary, the heart of their heart, and hold a space for them so that they can go as deep as possible.
So what will you be doing in San Diego? You're opening an event there, right?
At the Portal to Ascension, yeah, I'm on the last day, Sunday morning. Sunday morning service. We start at 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. I'm bringing all of my harps, all of my crystal bowls, my crystal chimes, and I'm performing a light body activation. I searched long and hard for um, the perfect presentation for this group. But it really came down to the light body activation. We worked for so long activating our pineals and activating our frontal lobes and dropping into our hearts. But as the veils become so thin, and the communication with the cosmos becomes so real these days, I really find that, to activate the entire body as the antenna, to activate the entire body, uh, as the conduit of this energy. I mean, that's what the ascended masters achieved, is light body. It wasn't just one aspect of them. It was the physical, the whole. And so,
So,
in
so
this environment, I feel like everyone's ready to go.
okay, we are ready for a little taste of ascension here.
Oh,
If you want, I mean, if you finish talking about what you're saying, but I loved your harp at the opening that we were kind of rehearsing.
oh, thank you. I can talk for hours. I do, and my trainings are 20 hours, because I never run out of things to say. Uh,
So what are you
but
are you gonna do some activations now for us?
sure. And I don't have anything planned. I'll see what comes through. Give me a time frame so I don't.
What was Scott? What do you think?
Like anywhere, I'd say like 5 to 7 minutes. Is that
Perfect. Sure.
like,
Yeah. So uh, I have many harps. These harps. I just want to talk about them for just 1 second so you understand what you're hearing. These are therapy harps, is the name of them. It's not a zither. It's tuned in a chord, and so it's a sound healing instrument. It's not a musical instrument. You can't play a song on these harps. But the beauty of it is that I can train therapists and healers and yogis to be amazing sound healing practitioners with these harps. You don't need, you don't need music theory. And this is a monochord. It's in the note of D, and D is the second chakra. Um, with a fifth of A, so it also has the pineal in it, and it really holds the space. I chose the root sound of this one, the drone, to hold the space for people. So I'm just going to begin. Tonight I chose the celestial tuning in the therapy harp. I wish you could see it a little bit. There we go. So we'll allow this beautiful celestial music to hold space for us. Why don't we travel deep and far and fast? Because we can. So all the usual, if you would like, you find your feet flat on the floor or crossed beneath you. Take that inhale that lifts you from the root of your tailbone through the top of your crown. Take that exhale that softens everything around the spine. With each inhale, feeling that lift from the top of the crown, extending into the divine intelligence of the cosmos. With every exhale, extending a root from your root into the earth, anchoring here. So being both places at once. In the expansiveness of all. Fully here on earth. Inviting you to come to that space right behind the back of the eyes. And just allow yourself to see what shows itself there. Any light forms, shapes, colors. Allowing your awareness to drift inwards towards the center of the mind, maybe towards a light at the center of the mind. As you come close to that light, just drifting inside of it, finding yourself in the sanctuary. The heart of your heart, the center of your center. Finding yourself in the most beautiful environment that has ever existed. Earth. Moving to the center of that environment. And resting there as if on a throne. The throne of your high self, your authentic essence. yourself to receive the divine wisdom. That which is original to you and only you. Your guides, your angels. Simply listen, receive, allow. Being told that a very specific message, specific to this day, this time, this activation of this day and this cosmic alignment is coming in to each of you in the specific language of you. And so allow yourself fully to receive that now. Taking a moment to observe your inner domain at this moment, to observe what you have received, what you have been shown, what you have come to know, any connections, any activations, and just breathe it into your cells. Begin to breathe deeper. It's time now to start that journey back. I invite you to bring with you the height of your journey, the height of that connection. Bring with you your guides into your conscious life, your waking life. So with gratitude, we begin that journey back from that sanctuary, knowing that it's always there to return to any moment of every day, all of your life. Taking that journey back to that space just behind the brow, just behind the eyes. Taking a breath and bringing your awareness just to the space in front of your brow, outside of your body, in your energy field. Just be aware of your energy field. A little stretch, a little breath, finding your fingers and your toes. And time now to return. As you open the eyes, just take one more moment to be here with our group. You're in your room, in your space where you are right now, back in the confines of time and space as we know it, yet simultaneously travel within to the height of your journey, to that connection, that oneness, that light, whatever your gift was, and be both. The expansiveness and the presence and the groundedness of right here and right now. that, I say, Aho. Namaste.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Michelle for some inspiration that floating through from her experiences of this week. So thank you, Michelle, for sharing the most precious of your time of your life with us. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Alan.
Mm. Thank you, Shelly. You are so multifaceted. I remember when you were hanging from buildings doing acro yoga. And really, she had these incredible shots of her. Like, I think you were hanging from a crane or something like that. And now you're putting your energies.
It was worse. It was a paraglider.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I,
But you
yeah,
have
it
so
came to
many
my senses.
talents. You have so many talents and gifts, and I'm happy you're coming to San Diego to share as many as you can with the crystal bowls and putting us in a mood to receive that knowledge. Scott, what was your response here?
Well, it's just a pleasure to meet you, Shelly. You know, one of the great joys of my life is all the people that come onto the show. And when I meet somebody like yourself, who's like this, kind of like I said about Vox, this wonderful jewel, this wonderful new being who's been for many years contributing to our awakening world. But gosh, what a delight to know that you are here with us. And I would like to read some of the comments that have come in. Kathy just wrote, oh my gosh, thank you. So beautiful. Susan writes, so beautiful, deep, and relaxing, Shelly. Thank you so much. Phyllis writes, beautiful, Shelly. Thank you. It allowed me to drop deeply. Blessings to you. Omashar writes, so beautifully resonant, Shelly. Thank you. Eleanor Joy writes, wow, your voice, the harp, and the words were hugely transformational. I feel very peaceful on a deep, deep level. Much gratitude. Linda writes, heavenly transmission. Thank you, Shelly. And on it goes with more and more people.
Wow. Can we show her website, Shelly Reef? Is that
Of course, I've got it right here.
her? Look at that beautiful
Oh,
picture.
that's an incredible image. That is just angelic. Talk about, Shelly, you clearly are an earth angel, one of those beings who's from a high vibration, who's agreed to come down to this lower vibration place to help humanity make its way through the portal to ascension, if you will. Is there anything you'd like for us to show people on your website? Anything you want to direct people to?
Yeah, if you scroll down,
Mhm.
just keep on scrolling.
Mhm.
There we go. Um, uh, I love activating healers in the world. So there's all the information for the therapy harps, and we brought the reverie harps into it this year because they're much more accessible, they're much less expensive. We're so excited this year. We're getting CEUs with the American Holistic Nursing Association. Uh, it's a really big deal for us. Um,
And you do
so
private sessions? You do
that's been. I do private sessions. I'm in San Diego. I work with Soul of Yoga in Encinitas, beautiful Encinitas, home of Swami Yogananda. As a matter of fact, Soul of Yoga was founded by a man who was a monk there at the San Diego ashram for 20 years, and he left to open the Soul of Yoga. And so it's kind of in that lineage. It's such a wonderful place. And 5 years ago, they began the Soul of Yoga Sound Healing Institute with Jonathan Goldman and Sylvia Nakash and just a plethora of amazing teachers that I teach with. So we do a lot there, and we love teaching. So yes, I do privates there. I do private empathic work and mentorship. I'm kind of moving past the one-on-one empathic work into mentorships because I find that one session, people take it in, they want to be healed so badly, and they take it in and they go in a section of their life, and then it all kind of falls apart, and they come back you know, a while later. But with mentorships, we can really like birth someone at the end of it, you know, and cater to meet them exactly where they are and cater to exactly what they need. Oh, there's one more thing. In November, we're having a retreat. We're calling it Out of Matrix. And it really is. I've been very concerned about AI for many years. I've been talking to my students about it for years, and they're like, what is she talking about? And now we all know. Now it's here. Part of the work I'm doing in the world is to go to the other side of the spectrum and go into the wealth conventions, and try to bring this work here and open the hearts of those who are more in that centralized frame of mind, to open their hearts up uh, to oneness.
Beautiful.
That's a big job, but
Mm,
So
that's great.
going
it
one more
feels
time
it feels
to your
important to me.
going one more time to your website. I apologize for interrupting. It's her name,
No.
Shelly Reef, SHELLYREEF.com. And there's where you can get all the information about her online courses, what she's doing in August. And definitely, my gosh, and Iceland, you going to Iceland? Shelly?
We will again. We had to cancel the last one because of COVID.
Okay.
So we're working up another one. The last one was amazing. The November retreat will be in California, so
I
nice and
see.
accessible.
Okay.
Mm.
In Encinitas, near where you are?
Sorry.
In Encinitas, near where you are in Encinitas?
This one's going to be in Lucerne Valley,
In
so
Lucerne.
a little bit north of here.
Mm.
Yeah, on this really beautiful land,
Mhm.
with a lot of nature. It's a dedicated retreat that's been there for decades.
Mhm.
And,
Well, what a joy to meet you. And I hope you'll come back and be on the Awakening World again. Alan, you keep finding these gems. And thank you, Shelly. God bless you for all the wonderful work you do.
Yeah. We'll see you soon, Shelly. We'll see you in San Diego. Yes.
oh, okay, you're going to get so many hugs. I can't wait. Thank you
So-
so much, everyone. Thank you for
Mm,
having me. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for the work that you bring to the world.
mhm.
Blessings.
Scott, you're missing some hugs, Scott. You're
I
missing.
know. I'm in such serious FOMO right now. I brought Neal back on because the two of you have another jewel to share with our audience. So tell
Yes.
us a little bit about
Well,
Jenna.
before you do that, Scott, I just want to say it's interesting that Shelly mentioned Yogananda because you have a deep connection to Yogananda and I have a connection and Shelly. So Yogananda is this like flavor that filters through a lot of our spiritual community. I just wanted
Absolutely.
to.
I mean, most of the people that I've become close to in my life, like really close to, have a connection to Yogananda. It's almost as though he brings us together. You
Yeah.
know, he is definitely
Mm,
that's accessible. I've
yeah.
experienced him directly. I know most of my friends that are,
Mhm.
have, and he's just beautiful. He is my master teacher.
I didn't know that. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, it does connect us to our next guest in a way. But Neal, do you want to start with Jenna and talk about her connection to Portal to Ascension?
Yeah,
And
we
then
can
I'll.
bring a Jen. But Scott, you were speaking about something else first, right? Do we have something else coming up, or were we talking about another production, Egypt, or should we get into right into Jenna?
Well, let's go to Jenna and then we'll go to Egypt.
Sounds good. All right, so really excited to be bringing on Jenna. Is this her debut here too?
Yes, it is.
Oh
She's
wow!
Persian.
Okay.
Mm.
So firstly, been having the privilege of working with Jenna for over a year now, and having her come on different platforms and present different events that we've done. Her story is incredible, but beyond that, her energy and what she's creating and her passion for what she's doing and peeling back the layers of her own consciousness to explore the inner depths of her own world. Right, that's like I had the opportunity to be at her house like a month ago, and I was gonna text you this, Jenna, but you were in India, so I didn't. So I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to be in your home, because your heart and the inside of your mind was like everywhere. And I could see like you through everything, and the way you positioned everything, the way you had your meditation room. And in my heart, I was like, wow, what an incredible person who's really doing the work to see what levels she can unlock within herself to continue to be the channel for what we're all doing this work for, you know? And so I'm so happy not only to know you on that level, but you're one of 4 sponsors at this conference. I've never had sponsors before. And it was great opportunity because I got to actually message you and say, hey, would you like to sponsor? As opposed to someone just being a random sponsor. And the reason why I reached out to you was because I wanted people that I really, I support and I feel really close to their mission and what you're doing, your platform and all that. So I'm just excited, Jenna, that to know you. I'm excited to see where you're going, where you're going to keep going. And I'm definitely excited to spend more than like, you know, a couple of hours with you at this conference. We get to hang out for a bit too. Yeah.
Right. I just want to say a few words too, Neal. That was great. I want to say Jenna comes from a whole other world. I mean, most of her adult life, I would say she was an executive at Whole Foods, you know, a big top executive making decisions. And then, like many of us, she had an awakening. It's like, really? There's something else going on? And it was her star family awakening. She left Whole Foods. She took a chance, moved to Sedona. Where else would you move after an awakening? Found a beautiful home and started Star Family Wisdom, where she just started to drop into this connection to this other realm, to this galactic realm. And she's still doing work in Star Family Wisdom. But in her last conversation we had together, we realized that we were mystics, that we were both initiates. They were on the alchemical path of not just Star Family, but just the whole transformation of the human into whatever, a master, ascended master. That's the path of the initiate, turning lead into gold. And so I brought up the thing about Yogananda and India because she just came back from India, where another level of initiation, and you look totally different than how you looked before you went to India, has just been infused into her consciousness. So I'm really excited to hear that, or anything you want to talk about. But Jenna, you are a mystic and initiate, and you're here to help transform the world. So please share what you want.
Thank you. Thank you both. Oh my gosh, that was such a beautiful intro. And I'm just so grateful to be making new friends in this new community. And like so many have said, this, you know, soul family, this star family, I think, on Earth that's coming together. And like Alan said, you know, my previous life and this life was, you know, being in a corporate role as a leader. And I found myself in all of the leadership roles that I had at Whole Foods, focusing on helping people navigate all sorts of change and transformation. So it is really interesting to me now that I'm awake, what I'm doing is helping people transform into the new human. So my awakening started about 5 years ago. So it's been a fast journey, and I was very much asleep for the first part of my life. I was, you know, doing this leadership work. I was, you know, advancing at a fast pace. You know, I had these intuitive, you know, faculties and capabilities that I just wasn't that in tune with yet. And then boom, it all turned on 5 years ago. And part of that awakening included starting to receive messages from Star Family, from ET beings with whom, you know, I've had other lives. And as my journey has progressed, as I've learned more about who they are and where my soul comes from, most of the time when it's incarnating, I started to really recognize, you know, the new role that I have in this life, and what, you know, Alan was just referring to around this initiation process. So, you know, part of this, you know, really fast-paced transformation that I've been through, and I'll talk about India in just a moment and why that is particularly special right now. But part of this, you know, really fast-paced transformation has been this awakening of past life memories, and some of those memories, Alan and I recently realized, you know, we share you know, multiple past lives, but we zoned in on one in particular that was fun, an ancient Egypt past life, and so I've had these, you know, spontaneous memories come to me. I think that was what was required to wake me up and get me out of that you know, really deep state of, you know, asleepness that I was in prior to now. And so you know, my journey started with these just incredible, you know, spontaneous past life visions and memories that would happen. And one thing led to another. I, you know, eventually found out that part of, you know, how I was being guided was by, you know, star family and these ET beings. And I got told to leave Whole Foods. So as I started to, you know, access more of these channels, as I started to understand more of, you know, who I am, as I started, you know, this communication process, I was very specifically guided to this second part of my mission here on Earth. And so when that happened, even though it was a little scary, and even though, you know, most people would say, you're giving up, you know, this career to do what? I said, yes, I had to, you know, if I'm a leader of people, if I'm a leader of change and transformation, and if, you know, everything I've done up until, you know, that point was for the purpose of supporting people, you know, how could I not take this step and say yes and share my journey? And so, you know, part of what I'm now doing is leading people in these initiation processes and in helping people very specifically move through, you know, these processes that upgrade and transform our energy field, help us, you know, shift and clear distortion and trauma and negative programming and, you know, past life karma that we might be carrying. You know, we work with sacred geometry at Star Family Wisdom. I now lead shamanic initiation processes, which, you know, is really for everyone, because, you know, shamanic practice helps us in that very, you know, real day-to-day practice of making those shifts. And so that's really what, you know, my work has become dedicated to, is helping us all transform into the new human, to, you know, get to a place where we really have released those karmas, and we've opened, you know, these channels to high divine cosmic energy. And, you know, what's interesting about, you know, my work up until this point, while it's been so exciting and fascinating to have this, you know, level of memory and awareness and knowing, you know, come back to me, you know, some of what I teach has just channeled out of me. You know, the first day I sat down to write a course, it just, you know, is coming out of me. So there's this aspect of, you know, awakening these channels that I was already, you know, familiar with. I already was doing channeling. You can actually hear the ETs, my star family, the beings I'm most connected with in this life. You can hear them talk through me in my regressions. So I've posted clips and long clips of my regressions on the Star Family Wisdom YouTube channel for people who are curious about that, and curious about even just the process of accessing past lives and what that sounds like, and you know, how a person moves through that. So you can find that there. So I was already familiar with this channeling process, and was already familiar with being guided, right? But recently, and this is what Alan was referring to around India, recently, I made an interesting connection, and I'm going to share more detail about this at the conference, at the Portal to Ascension conference, because it's a fascinating story of how consciousness works, really, and the clues that are available to us to guide us towards our destiny and help us arrive there in the right moment at the right time. So I recently was guided to this very specific Swami master in India who's no longer on the planet. He has since departed. But I found his work, and I found his work because of a recurring childhood dream that I had. So even though I was asleep for so many years, there were these clues that my consciousness held and that I would receive from time to time that have helped me connect the dots on where I'm supposed to be going with my work now. So I found this master's work. His name is Sri Kaleshwar. And what's fascinating about this man, this being, I believe, he was absolutely a star seed. There's something, quite cosmic about him, as with, many swamis and masters in India. He accessed in his lifetime past life memories of being with Jesus, with Yeshua and the Holy Family. And this master, this guru in India, was one of the first to translate some of the ancient Indian palm leaf manuscripts that had not been translated yet. And in the process of doing that, found the very specific processes and spiritual practices, mantra, yantra systems that Jesus used to gain his, enlightenment and to open, the divine channels that we can open, and to gain, command over nature and control over the elements. And so all of a sudden, I found myself connecting with this information and started to receive guidance that I had to go to India, and specifically to the location of this Swami's ashram, which happens to be in the town where Jesus and the Holy Family lived when they went to India. So this is a potent spot energetically, and I hope I'm doing an okay job talking through this, because I'm in the middle of a massive transformation as we're talking right now, because this journey to India, while I knew it was something I needed to do, and I knew I was being guided, and I knew I needed to go to this specific place, what transpired and the amount of miracles that I experienced in this short window of time is just incredible and profound. And I'm going to be talking more about that at the conference. And in June, I'm going to be hosting a webinar with Neal and Portal to Ascension called Activating Next Level Manifestation with Yeshua's Ancient Holy Practices. So we'll be going deeper in that webinar. And I'm in the process of completing various systems right now, and will be certified to lead others in those, and host workshops and mentor people who think they might be ready for this level of initiation. So this, this journey to India was absolutely a next level initiation for me. And I can also say now, having accessed this information and going deep, like engaging at a really deep level in these practices, I recognize now why I was guided to build everything else we've built with Star Family Wisdom, because you need to progress through these initiations in the right way to even be able to open these channels, to even be able to hold, the level of divine energy that's possible. And I'm, just in, the beginning stages of understanding what's possible here. So we'll talk more about that at the conference. But, this was, something that was also so confirming for me afterwards, because I had this really incredible, special, private experience at this location, at this ashram, and felt very much like I was guided there, accessed some of my own past life memories in this process, some more. And then afterwards, I'm posting something on Instagram about this Swami, and remembering him. Like Michelle said, there's these moments where we see someone, we hear someone, we recognize their energy. And I recognized this man's energy, just immediately. And afterwards, I'm posting about this on social media about, this reunion, this star family reunion that just happened. And Alan messages me and shares a photo of him at the ashram back in, I think maybe 2009 or 2010. So Alan had the pleasure of meeting this man who had mastered, these channels, and had essentially mastered what Yeshua did, was able to manifest instantly and do some very high level shamanic work, I guess you could call it. It's very shamanic in many ways. So Alan got to meet this Swami, and then now we're connecting and recognizing, I think, another past life connection, which is really cool. So my work now is absolutely 110% dedicated to helping people navigate, on the physical level, like navigate transformation. Because when we go through these really deep transformational processes, when we're really serious about clearing our karma and upgrading our energy field, transforming it to allow our energy field to create the conditions for miracles to occur, like that's hard work. Like there's work involved in that, and it's not always pretty, and it is uncomfortable, and we resist it sometimes, and the way the illusion of life and the play of time and karmas start to hit us when we do get serious about that work. It's not for the faint of heart. So I want to be in a position where I can support people through that process and give them these stepping stones to move through their spiritual initiation, and ultimately arrive at this place of becoming the new human. Because I think as star seeds, as souls on earth who have had these other experiences, which I think all of you are, that's what we're here to do. We're here to literally transform into the new human and leave the old paradigm behind. We're here to be the examples of that new, enlightened, transformed being. So I'll stop there. That was a lot, but that's what's going on with me right now.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's so good. I mean, Scott, and I can maybe speak for me and you, Scott, we love stories of awakening, don't we?
Absolutely. And your enthusiasm, your excitement of something that's really happening. And one of the things that I think takes place by the shows that Alan does, that I do, that Neal does, the more we all hear stories of each other's awakening, the more we experience Fox's music and Shelly's example and your example, it's 100th monkey effect. We start really believing, okay, this is really happening. Our planet really is waking up. We really are becoming more conscious. It's we start trusting our own experiences more. We don't diminish our mystical experiences. And it's really important for us to share these stories, and for people like yourself to share your enthusiasm, and then create in your own community, in your own ways, more opportunities for us to all come together and keep shifting, keep growing, keep evolving.
Right. And you see in Jenna's story, she's not just awakening, she's like a light that is lighting other people's light. So it's like that awakening to teach her to transforming the planet. That's beautiful, Jenna. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
And you know, I love to read comments from the audience. So I'm going to read a few that have come in. Ayada writes, Jenna, I so resonate with all you've shared, and particularly that we are here to transform into the new human. Dia writes, thank you, Alan, for providing Sri Swami Kaleshwar's name. I appreciate all that you bring to us. And Jenna is super. Oh, how I would love to be at your conference. I will be up into the wee hours, often attending my own conferences. Eleanor Joy writes, I am so feeling you, Jenna, on a deep level. Ali writes, very interesting what you're doing. Great describing your journey. And that's very interesting about Yeshua in India. And so...
hey, can I just share a picture, Scott, of Swami Kaleshwar?
Sure.
This is actually a special picture for me because he is marrying me in Panakonda, India. That's Kalesh. This is actually 2000. Me and the beautiful Paula Gloria and Swami Kaleshwar, he didn't want to be worshipped. He said, I want to create masters. So he was not the typical guru. He was a teacher of masters, and people can still go there. And Jenna, you talked about a direct transmission. He died young because he felt he finished his time here. So he's right there on the ashram, and people have incredible transmissions just being in his presence or the presence of his samadhi. And he was a beautiful friend for me. And I remember that moment he married me and my beloved there.
Oh, that's beautiful, Alan. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you. And
Well,
so Jenna,
I want to let people know how they can get more of Jenna. And I love the name of your website. It's starfamilywisdom.com. What's interesting is Michelle works with the Star Knowledge Conference every year, and I've done shows with them. So it's beautiful. Again, everybody's kind of getting the same vision and then making it their own. But is there anything you want to make sure that I point out to people, Jenna, while we're on your website?
Yeah, actually, right there, the 10-week rites of the Munai Key shamanic initiation. That's one of the initiation processes that I lead, and this is an energetic transmission process. And we also do shamanic practice. Get you engaged in various forms of shamanic practice that you'll be able to use to support your own transformation. But I really credit the rites of the Munai Key with activating in my energy field, what needed to be activated to help me progress further in my journey. So that's one reason I now offer it. I'm certified to teach and lead people in that transmission, and that begins May 14th. So if you have any interest in shamanic practice or going through a formal initiation process, that's our next one up.
Fantastic. Jenna, thank you so much. It's great to meet you and Shelly, two wonderful new jewels in our ever-expanding treasure chest of luminaries. Alan and Neal, thanks
Thank
again.
you, Jenna.
We're on board. Amazing.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to what you have to share at the conference, Jenna, and also what your activations are and what Swami told you in the Samadhi state. I want to hear what he whispered to you.
I can't share all of it just yet.
That's
I'm in
okay.
the middle of the process, but I'll share as much as I can at the conference. And then in June, I'm an open book. I'll share it all.
Wow. Great.
Beautiful. So, while I've got you guys, I want to talk a little bit about a couple of the other things. Of course, let's get to San Diego if we possibly can. But you've got not one, but two more amazing events coming up this year that
Reef.
really, really special. And so I'll talk a little bit about each one of those. So everybody, a reminder, go to portaltoascension.com. Portaltoascension.com is where you can see all the amazing things that these guys are creating. And look at all that they have happening. Astral travel, remote viewing, and they've got their online events, Activating the Galactic Within. But they also have remarkable in-person events. And there's Jenna right there. So activating next level manifesting. And
So-
Geraldine, who we love, Geraldine's going to be on this show next week, next Wednesday night. Geraldine will be here. But
So-
I'm going to go where it says upcoming events and something that I'm really hoping to go to. Gentlemen, tell us about the trip to Glastonbury.
Yeah, Neal.
Yeah, well, to say I'm excited for this event would be an understatement. You know, I am just so beyond ecstatic for what's being created here and how it's coming together. I wanted to do international conferences. I mean, our online events are international. We have people from remote villages around the world tuning in, but I wanted to, like, you know, take Portal Ascension out of just doing events in the US, live events. And it started with a one-day event in Glastonbury. It ended up becoming a 3-day conference. And now it's a 3-day conference with a full day of a tour around ancient Avalon the day before. So it's like a 4 to 5 day experience. And, you know, Joan and I went over the speaker list today and she goes, well, how many people do you have from Europe as opposed to the US? And we have 14 people flying from the US, 14 people from Europe, 14, didn't even try to make that happen, you know? So it's like the perfect balance of us really coming together. And the theme of this event is, you know, we're definitely going to be talking about our galactic origins. We're going to be talking about the evolution of consciousness, but ultimately also it's going to tap into the Druidic awareness. We have like a representative from the Druidic Council in that area coming. We have someone who's talking about pre-Christian roots of ancient Avalon. So it's going to be a truly mystical experience. And yeah, that's August 11th, 12th, and 13th. AscensionGlastonbury.com is the website.
Anything you want to add? And really, I'm amazed at all the people.
Sophie, like the.
We've got a lot of just all these wonderful people, many of whom have been on this show, but some of whom have not. Vivian Chavot is one of the people I'm most impressed with these days.
Mhm.
You're going to have her, of course, Laura Eisenhower, Geraldine Orozco. How many people are going to be actually attending? What's the full number of people that are going to be
Yeah,
there?
so when I decided to do this event, it was in the middle of August and every venue was taken. So we literally got the last venue that had availability in town for 110 people, right? So we're over half sold right now in attendance. And we haven't even really pushed it. It's kind of just its own energy. It's got its own energetic. And I feel part of it is like, you know, it started as a one-day event with maybe 4 or 5 speakers. And then a good 15 to 20 of my colleagues contacted me and said, I heard you're doing an event in Glastonbury. I want to be there. And then that's why it became a 4-day epic experience, you know? So just the energy of everybody wants to be there. It's a destination event. Plus, as a lot of you may know, it's been said that Glastonbury is the hot chakra center of the world. So it's basically ley lines running through there, the Michael line and the Dragon line. I think Jenna was the one who told me about the Dragon line, but the Dragon line runs through that area as well. So the conference is set up in a way where we're not only learning all this information, but it's like a grid work event where we're going to cultivate our heart chakra energy. We're going to do some intentional grid working from the actual conference room as we like have certain ceremonial experiences.
Beautiful. You know, one of the things that's great about that timing too, is it's right at the peak of crop circle season.
Yep.
I've been to Glastonbury 3 times in my life, and that whole southern England area is just filled with mystical spaces. I especially love Avebury. It's not as well known as Stonehenge, but the energies there are amazing. And that time of year, there will be crop circles happening in the area that we can go to. And being inside crop circles, the real ones, the ones that aren't man-made, but the mystical ones, it's a truly amazing experience, Neal. So you picked a great time to be there.
No, and actually, so the week before that is a Glastonbury Symposium, and they have an all-day crop circle adventure. So we're gonna go meet the locals that put on that event to kind of connect with them, and then go on the crop circle adventure with them, and then spend the whole week before that looking for crop circles too. So I'm really excited for that.
Well, something really cool. Alan has the Hertogs here. And how perfect timing. Alan, you might have to, if you're going to bring on the Hertogs, you might have to remove your background so we can see them. There they are. What a joy. Hello, JJ. Hello, Desiree. We were just together in Sedona, and good to see you both.
Journey coming up. And most of you know that we were beneath the sands of Giza many times, where we actually discovered the tomb of Osiris back in 97, that the Egyptian authorities took it away from the Americans and made it their project. But nonetheless, we will have text and actual photographs going back, showing the true story of the underground academy that was a place of teaching.
So shortly after Glastonbury, actually, Neal's going to join us with Jonah of Angels and Alan Steinfeld in Egypt for a fabulous trip.
Yeah, here we go. This is the Egyptian tour. You can register at EgyptAscensionRetreat.com for the Hertogs, me, Neal, Jonah of Angels for 11 days and up and down the Nile into the King's Chamber with experts. JJ and Desiree are experts in the field. How many times have you been there?
No.
Quite a few times, but what's important here, I want to show you actual pictures where we had light phenomena inside the tombs of Egypt and under the ground, where we discovered the tunnel system that now is being publicized. The younger Egyptologists have recognized we were the true discoverers. It was not Zahi Hawass who takes credit for everything.
But if you go, you can see the tour that all of us have put together, and it's 2 nights, or 2 times, I should say, in the King's Chamber, one at the beginning, one at the end, and then also the cruise on the Nile and Luxor and many
Why
other
is this
great
so
things.
important? Because the world events playing out, that the Egyptian text and the actual geometries of the pyramids are aligned, as most of you know, with Orion and some of the other constellations. And there is a text that tells us that when the world goes through a cycle of near destruction, we will turn to the Egyptian guides, or some translators, gods, who will show themselves to the face of the earth. So we feel this may be a prelude to actual contact.
And JJ was the person who remote viewed the pyramids on Mars before they were even published by NASA. So pyramids, and we're going to be in those pyramids. So we're not just looking at pictures, we're actually going to these ancient stargates.
Right. A man by the name of Sherman.
Harold Sherman.
Harold Sherman and others were involved in top secret work with respect to the power of the remote viewers to reach out. And I had the opportunity to reach even further to actually see the mathematical arrangements of different grids on the surface of Mars, and actually an Inca city, as it was later called, in the southern hemisphere of the planet Mars. So we're finding space archaeology that matches human history. We're in a living moment where disclosure of extraterrestrial technology may lead to extraterrestrial or interterrestrial disclosure of a much earlier cycle of life that we as humans are part of. So this will be an opportunity to use positive knowledge and psychology and archaeology to bring humanity into a new page of history.
And experience these stargates. The word temple actually means reflection of the stars. These temple sites were built to reflect the heavens. That's like the belts of Orion and the 3 great pyramids there in the Giza Plateau. But throughout Egypt, there are stargates. Neal, you have anything to add?
Tell your friends, because this is going to be very dynamic in a very unusual way, because I want to show you the actual text, never before seen.
We're going to experience it.
And we also have a limit of how many people can go to,
Yes.
so it's important to register.
What's the number of people that will be going, and how many tickets are left?
80 on this trip, and we're almost all filled up. Neal, you have anything you want to add about your research in India?
Well, not on Egypt, but well, definitely Egypt is much older than we've been told, and that's part of the awareness that I feel is going to be coming out. That's going to help redefine the timeline of human history. When we thought we were primitive, and what's happening this year is honestly an unprecedented move of all these individuals taking tours to Egypt. So many, more than I've ever experienced before, and I felt like a year and a half ago when Alan said, "Hey, we should take people to Egypt." I felt that Egypt is calling its people home, right? And that to me is the slogan of this journey, that we have probably all had lives together, those that are going to come there to Egypt. And we're not just going there to have an experience and see these ancient structures. We're going there to remember and connect and to activate ourselves to be the beacons of this new paradigm. And I am so in awe that I'm going to be there, and that I'm going to be there with the Hertags and just receiving all this awareness and codes. I already know that it's going to be an up-leveling just for myself personally. So yeah, it's gonna be great.
Neal, you.
And we'll see you this weekend.
I hope to see you in Egypt with us.
And we'll see you in San Diego. They
Yeah.
will see you in San Diego. Thank you, doctors. Dr.
Thank you so much
Hurtak.
for joining us. Wow. Hey, going back to the website for a moment, they really have done a nice job. You can see the entire itinerary. So when you go to the website, you scroll down and it shows you, the itinerary, the Sphinx in the Egyptian Museum on day 2, the Step Pyramid on day 3, the Valley of the Kings on day 4, Temple of Abydos on day 5, the Hathor Temple in Luxor, day 6, the Temple of Karnak on day 7, the Temple of Horus, day 8, the Temple of Isis on day 9, and the Great Pyramid on day 10, and then departure. So it's every day is going to be quite extraordinary. And that's EgyptAscensionRetreat.com. EgyptAscensionRetreat.com.
This is saying it's a full-on schedule. This is people are really going for it, will want to activate their connection to those lifetimes, to those great temples. And it's a vibrational shift. Those temples are still active. They were built 5,000, some of them 10,000 years ago, and they were made to last through the ages. And we're going to be in those structures. And, people, I was there maybe 25 years ago. I remember every single moment of that trip, practically, all those temples. There's no place like Egypt. Egypt is the mother of civilization. It really is.
Yes.
Ali remembers
something more to Egypt.
One
Go
of
ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Neal.
No, I was going to say, if I could add a little something more to the Egypt thing. I've known about the advancement in spirituality of Egypt ever since I woke up, in 2001, 2002, but I was never really felt like I was called to go there. And then about a year and a half ago, I started doing research on Pythagoras' life. I spent 8-9 months researching Pythagoras. And through that, eventually went to Egypt and realized he had 20 years where he lived in Egypt. And I started looking at the mathematical connection of Pythagoras to all of the placements of the pyramids, the circumference, the diameters of the bases of the pyramids on the Giza Plateau, the distance from one structure to another structure. And I realized that every single thing in Egypt was done intentionally, to the placing of every single block, to even the way Thoth is holding his staff on a hieroglyph in every single temple. Why, for example, why is he doing that? The staff is 23.5 degrees, which is the same tilt as the Earth's axis on every temple. Every single micro, miniature detail. It was almost like that these ancient people created a map of, if we ever had a global reset again, that every element of every information we need, from how far distances to suns and stars are, what planets we came from, what our ancient culture was, how to rebuild buildings and everything. It seems like that they had it just throughout the fact that they created this great civilization, And I'm rambling here because I really got so excited about it that now I just realized it truly is so magnificent. The way that they did it, their level of awareness, intellect, and creativity, the balance of their right and left hemisphere must have been firing at full speed, that I can't wait to go and actually experience it from those eyes.
Beautiful. I just want to acknowledge that some of the people watching here are going to go, but most won't be able to. And I'm wondering, are you guys going to record parts of it? Are you going to live
lots of it.
stream? Yeah.
We're going to create a lot of content from this, yeah.
A little documentary, so people will be there. We're also going to maybe stream. Are we going to stream some of this, Neal?
Yeah, so we have, when we're in the hotels and we have, nighttime presentations, we're going to probably stream some of those.
And when I was there, people had Kundalini awakenings. They had visions. I mean, there really is an energy there. And so we only have another maybe 20 spaces left on this trip. So if it calls you, go to the website, EgyptAscensionRetreat.com. This might be something we do every year, but this year with the Hurtaks, they're not going to come in. This is the year we're bringing the Hurtaks there.
This is the year to do it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it's been an incredible 2 hours. And we've got a lot to integrate. And the best way to integrate all of this is by going to our beautiful beloved brother, Omashar.
That would be me. And yes, gosh, Neal and Alan, phenomenal. Thank you so much for the content tonight, and for Jenna and Shelly. How eloquent. And it just reminds me, I've spent a lot of time in Glastonbury, and I've spent time in the Great Pyramid of Egypt, and I had an amazing awakening there. That's for another story. Unbelievable what happened when we were there. And so this is just a song to bring us back into our heart, and it's a message from the divine source of all creation. And it's basically to come back and play with the divine. And so let's take a few deep breaths.
In the beginning when we were one, life was fun. The human race had just begun. When you were children you laughed and played in the sun. So tell me now, where have you gone? And come back and play with the divine. You're part of me, walking through time. I didn't leave you in the dark. You are the jewel of my heart. We could never be apart. I yearn for you endlessly, a field of dreams in between. You are the children of the sun, all of you. The world awaits your point of view. So come back and with the divine. You're part of me, walking through time. I didn't leave you in the dark. You are the jewel in my heart. We could never be apart.
What a perfect song, all about the power of play and all the beautiful play we've heard today. And you've got something very special happening on Friday. I'm gone to the website. This is Omashar's website. It's his name, omashar.com. Tell us what's going on, bro.
So if you just scroll up, upwards.
Upwards, I'm going up.
Or down then. Okay, sorry. Yeah. And see, there are many paths to oneself, one conference. Twice a year I get to play with the Pure Presence conferences, and it's the Teachers of God Foundation. And it's an expansion of the Course in Miracles into non-duality communication. So if you click that and go up and up and up, and a long way.
I feel blessed being with you during this time. I'm very grateful for
somebody needs to mute
the Teachers of God Foundation and the
it's actually supposed to be coming out of that.
It's coming out of that. Okay.
So anyway, keep on going up, Scott.
You mean down?
Down. Sorry.
This has the power
you can turn them
of
off.
changing.
And then keep scrolling. And basically, this is all who's on the conference. And it's this weekend. It's not, there's me and my brother. And James Twyman's in there and a few other amazing people. It's a free conference. And it's, again, this weekend. There's so much happening all at once, Neal. And I play on Friday at 1:20, actually 12:20 Pacific time. I have a mini conference. And so you can sign up and you can cut and paste yourself through all of the amazing presenters that are there. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of that conference. So
beautiful. Well, they're blessed to have you, my friend. Thank you.
They are. So I'll put in the link, in the chat, the link again, but it's purepresenceconferences.com. And it's, again, this weekend. Yeah.
Great. I will pop that in. I'll talk to people for a minute while you do that. And actually, let me share with people what we're going to be doing over the next couple of days. This weekend, I should say. It's Earth Day. And so on Friday night, our good friend Mitchell Rabin has put together an amazing event with Lynn Twist, Chief Phil Lane, Dwayne Elgin, and several other amazing people, including our beloved Kristen Hoffman. And that's going to be Friday night at 7 o'clock Eastern. So it's 4 o'clock Pacific time. It's going to be about a 2.5 hour program. And I really want to encourage everybody to attend that. But the other alternative is that we are then taking some of the best of the segments that he has created and some of the best presentations like Lynn Twist and some of the others. And we're going to have them on Saturday Night Alive. So the Saturday Night Alive show will be a combination of live. Omashar and I will be there. Destiny Love will be there. Mitchell Rabin will be there. But then we'll also play some of the segments that were recorded the day before by Lynn Twist, Richard Lackey, and a couple of the others. Chief Phil Lane will be with us. We love the Chief. So that's what's happening on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, once a month, I do a Sacred Sunday show where Omashar and I talk with you, where we kind of talk about what's going on and we plan the future. We talk about retreats and events. And I've got a couple of surprises. Paul Sterling is going to join us. And Shri and Kira has something very special to share with us. So that's going to be this Sunday. And that's a good show for everybody to be with in person in the Zoom room so you can interact with Omashar and myself.
That's going to be a great show. And I didn't realize Shri was coming along because they have some amazing astrological information for us.
Yeah, it's an amazing time on the planet, just absolutely amazing. So if Alan and Neal, if you guys are around, turn your cameras back on. I'll bring you on one more time to say hello. There's Neal. Thank you so much, guys, for putting this show together, bringing jewels of Jenna and Shelly and Vox into our world. Any final thoughts you'd like to share?
We're building something here. This is the beginning, what Neal's doing online and in person, what you've been doing, Scott. This is not just about these people who are coming every week. I just feel it. It's starting to spread out, It's like there's those negative forces that spread out, but these are the positive forces that are spreading around the planet. And could I say infecting everyone possibly in a good way to wake up? I mean, just listening to Jenna's story, I mean, just imagine an executive at Whole Foods, totally unaware of this, and boom, she's a star family wisdom person doing initiations in Egypt and India. It's like, imagine if that just ignited everyone where they woke up overnight and said, oh my God, there really is more to reality than, 9 to 5 and, working. And I mean, this is what I see as possible. And this is what all of us here, everyone listening, we're all pushing for something bigger than ourselves to happen. That's what's so exciting, I find. That's why we're getting together in San Diego. But that's just one thing. Yeah, Neal.
Yes.
There's also a question for you, Neal.
Yeah.
Ellie has been asking, I don't know if you responded to it. She wanted to know if there is going to be a place on San Diego. Let me try and find.
Yeah, I saw the message with a place where local practitioners can leave the information, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so we don't have anything allotted for that, but there's multiple tables everywhere, so you can definitely bring some stuff out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's a woman named Nicolette who does have a table, who's building a practitioners community in the San Diego area. So she'd be a great person to connect with. She's making those kind of local connections there, Nicolette. So
Oh, and Andrew is with us. Andrew, I met. He came to the LA Global Peace Tribe Retreat, and Andrew's going to be part of both Friday night and Saturday night. So, and Andrew just put in some additional information there in the link. So,
well, I would love to share a poem, but I want to.
Well, what? I was hoping you would, but I didn't want to push it. So,
no, you don't. You can't threaten me with a good time. I love performing poetry.
Well, Neal is our favorite poet, and going all the way back to Setting It Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. When I first met you, Neal, your wordsmithing is beautiful. So what are you going to share with us tonight?
All right, so I have a book that's being released next week called Planet Earth, Poetry from the Next Dimension. And it's on Amazon starting next week. And then I also have my spoken word album coming out alongside it, where I'm doing spoken word with classical music, violin, piano, viola. And so this one is a track from the album. But I wanted to just speak on the last question that Scott had asked, final closing words about this whole thing here. And, as I'm traveling, because right now I travel full time for the last year and a half. And as I'm traveling, meeting people, yoga centers, like vegan food places all over, I'm finding that more and more people that are in these communities, are aware of the term ascension, aware of an evolutional consciousness, and just being into this ever since 2001, and just kind of feeling into how many people really knew about these terms, and we're really getting into this awareness that we're sharing here. I'm definitely seeing a huge upturn in this awareness. And what what happens with the system a lot of times is what they do, whoever they are, who is only really a reflection of us anyway, what they are doing always backfires and awakens more people. So when I see chaos, I see the opportunity for more to awaken. If we continue with the status quo, we'll be continuing with the status quo forever. And they, reflections of us, can slowly cipher our energy, but we will never know, and we'll go on for thousands of years. The best way for us to wake up to this level of what is really happening on the planet is to experience the contrast that will shake us up. And I feel that we've experienced this contrast quite substantially. And right now, that is why we're walking around the planet, and a lot of people have just got up and left their old lives. The amount of people I'm meeting like that, you'd be amazed at so many conversations about, this is what I was doing then, this is what I'm doing now, and this is what I know is real and happening for the earth and myself. So I'm really excited. Even though I see chaos, even though I see division, I just see the opportunity for more of us to realize what we truly want. And ultimately, we all want the same thing: love, be loved, connection to ourselves, and connection to others. So that's why I'm excited to continue doing this work, because it's a self-healing journey at the same time as we're creating these events and experiences for others. So that's my spiel, and I'm going to get into this poem here. This one's called Empower Thyself. The moment draws near. For years, we've been purging all fears, letting go of the old energies, making room for the new frequencies. I know we all feel these on some level. Higher multidimensional entities embracing our galactic families, emissaries of unconditional love. The one vibration that fits all creation like a glove. I know sometimes in this incarnation, it can seem tough, with masons illuminating manipulations, facing, tasting, wasting our lives away. We must remember the lessons that we are here to play. We chose to be here today. Nothing external to you, to your own God self you pray. There's only one speck of light. Experiencing itself in multiple forms within our sight, taking us to new heights. So go against the norm, no longer conform. Where one transitions, there's no reason to mourn, no scorn. Take out the thorn. The crystalline children are now being born. There is no devil waiting for you with horns. There is only love. There is only love. The vibration showering us, descending straight from densities above. We must stand up and say enough and take our power back. With peace and understanding, there's no reason to attack and energize fear, as they are reflections of us. Time to trust our brothers and sisters. This is all a self-imposed test. So don't worry, you got the job. Put all your concerns to rest. Through the darkness, the light will firmly nest into the dimension that is next. The moment is now to resurrect the Christ consciousness. The moment is now to resurrect the Christ consciousness. Let's take a deep inhale together, everyone. Deep inhale. Let it out through the heart.
I'm going to go to gallery view for a moment and let's just all twinkle and appreciate, Neal, that beautiful poem. And yes, this is the time for Christ consciousness to fill us, for us to embrace it, for us to be available for that. Thank you, Neal.
Thank you, brother.
I love you. I appreciate you so much. I'm going to bring Omashar on one more time.
Yes, thank you,
Alan,
Neal. That was beautiful.
Up. We just lost Neal. He's back.
So powerful, brother.
Appreciate you all.
Another beautiful show. Here we are. There's Desiree. Good to see Desiree with Alan coming in and out like a ghost. Thank you, Desiree. Love you so much.
Are here.
Thank you.
Every week for you. So we're here. Thanks. Great show. Really a great show tonight. It's like every week we go to another level and something really seems to be cohesive, being resonating together that just keeps evolving. It really does. Doesn't it for you too, Scott?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like we're just all waking up. It's happening. There's a powerful group awakening happening that we all are experiencing together.
Yeah.
Eleanor Joy is agreeing with that. She was all right, you guys, much love. We were going to show a clip of Larissa Stowe, but to be honest, I have a client at 8:30, which is in 5 minutes. So I'm going to show that clip on our Sacred Sunday show. On the Sacred Sunday show, we'll hear from Larissa. And sending you guys all the best. Have a fantastic time down in San Diego. Much love. Let's check out what Omashar is doing on Friday. And happy Earth Day, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday night for the Earth Day show. Good night, everybody.